So the periodic table, why the elements are grouped into families or into groups. Actually, people realized that the convenience of studying the elements in groups or in families is more preferred to the study of elements and their individual characteristics. Therefore, people started grouping the elements. And the first idea was given by Mendeleev, a Russian chemist, in the year 1896. And he stated that the chemical and the physical properties are the periodic functions of the atomic weights. Now, what is atomic weight? See, atom is the smallest particle of an element. Suppose if you take an element and if you break it down into small particles, and you will reach a condition where you cannot physically break it further. So this is the idea of the John Dalton. According to John Dalton, atom is the smallest particle of an element which cannot be divided further. But only later on people realized that atoms have subatomic particles like protons, electrons, and neutrons. But until then, what people believed was atoms are indivisible. They cannot be divided further. And these atoms had weights. That is called atomic weight. Actually, it is not possible to isolate one single atom and to know its weight. It is totally impossible. Then you may ask how the people in those days, when Mendeleev stated that the chemical and physical properties are the periodic functions of atomic weights, how people knew the atomic weights of various elements. You may ask this question. Actually, in lower classes, you might have studied a law called Dulong and Petit's law. I don't know how many of you remember. According to Dulong and Petit, they did some experiment and they have seen that the specific heat capacity of a substance multiplied by its atomic weight will result in a constant. This was the idea. Then you should know what is heat capacitance. Heat capacity is the quantity of the heat energy required to rise the temperature of a body by 1 degree. Suppose you are taking a substance and the temperature of the substance is 25 degrees centigrade, means what is the quantity of the heat energy to be supplied to rise the temperature to 26 degree. This 1 degree rise. So you should understand what is the intensity factor and the capacity factor of heat energy. You are supplying the energy in the form of joule or calorie, and you are rising the temperature in degree. And this rise, what is the quantity of the heat energy spent to rise the temperature of the body by 1 degree is called the heat capacity. When Dulong and Petit, they multiplied the heat capacity and the atomic weight, they got a constant. Therefore, knowing that constant, they calculated the atomic weights of all the elements. And when the Mendeleev was studying the chemical and physical properties of the elements, he found that these properties were periodic functions of atomic weights. So that was the old law. And he just placed the elements in a systematic order. And he formed the old periodic table, which is based upon the atomic weight of the elements. And then later on, a British man in 1912 called Henry Moseley, and he said that the chemical and the physical properties are the periodic functions of atomic numbers. And there came a different idea called atomic number. Atomic number is the number of protons in an element. That is the atomic number. So they started arranging the elements in the increasing order of atomic numbers. And when they arranged the elements in the increasing order of atomic numbers, they got the long form of a periodic table. So as a chemistry students, you should all remember the periodic table all the time. Suppose if you tell me any element, immediately in my mind, I am able to see the position of that element in the periodic table. Because when I was a student of undergraduation, I had a periodic table put on my door, and whenever I go out and come in, I used to look at the periodic table and I memorized the entire periodic table. Even now, I remember all the elements in the periodic table. So whenever people ask for the characteristics of one particular element, immediately I am able to locate that element where it is in the periodic table. Only when you know the location of that element in the periodic table, then you can relate, because the halogens will behave in a particular manner, the inert gases will behave in a particular manner, the third group, fourth group, fifth group. So group wise you can remember. Only when you know the position of one particular element in the periodic table, you can speak about its characteristic in a more authenticated manner. Therefore, as a chemistry students, you should remember the periodic table. So in the long form of the periodic table, people observed that the chemical and physical properties had recurrence after some numbers, and these numbers are called magic numbers, the 2, 8, 8, 18 and 32. If you take the first row, the row is called period and the column is called group in periodic table. So you should always remember the horizontal, that is rows, they are called various periods. The vertical, the various columns are called groups. So whenever we discuss the physical or chemical properties, we have to find out how these properties change along the period and down the group. Then only you can identify the interrelations existing among the various elements in the periodic table. So what happens along the period and what happens down the group? These are all the two things by which we are going to analyze various periodic properties. So when you are horizontally moving, in the first row only two elements are there, namely hydrogen and helium, 2. And in the second row, it is from lithium to neon. There were only 8 elements. And in the third period also, there are 8 elements. In the fourth period, 10 more elements are added. And totally we are getting 18 elements. And in the fifth row, and 14 more elements are added and we are getting 32 elements. But the recurrence takes place once after 2 elements, and in the next row after 8 elements, and in the next row after 8 elements, and in the fourth row after 18 elements, and in the fifth and sixth rows after 32 elements. So these are called the magic numbers. Why it happens so? Probably from tomorrow onwards, I will try to teach using a blackboard so that you can understand the things much well. But today, you please look into the presentation. So the groups and the periods, I think you are clear about what are groups and what are periods. The horizontal, that is the rows in the long form of a periodic tables are called periods. And the vertical, that is the columns seen in the long form of periodic table are called groups. Now look, what is the objective of the periodic table? See, the periodic table is constructed with an objective to organize and systematize the arrangement of elements. The elements are organized in a systematic manner so that we can find out the reason for resemblance of certain elements. So that is the main objective of the construction of the periodic table. We are going to organize the elements and we are going to systematize their arrangement and we are going to find out the reason for their resemblances. Actually, their resemblance or their similarity in the physical and chemical characteristics, they are based upon their electronic configuration. What is this electronic configuration? How the electrons are systematically arranged in an orbit, in an orbital, in the element. These are all the fundamental things we should always have a very clear picture. So first of all, I will give you an introduction about the periodic table, and then later on, I will go deep into the electronic configuration of elements. So the periodic table has 7 periods. I'm going to explain one period after the other. You take the first period, it contains only 2 elements. Suppose in your home, if you are having a periodic table with you, please open the book and try to look at the periodic table while I am explaining so that it will be easy for you to follow. Look at the first period. The smallest element or the atom with the smallest size in the periodic table is the hydrogen. Hydrogen atomic number 1, which has only 1 proton and 1 electron. Sometimes 1 neutron or 2 neutron, depending upon what type of isotope we are dealing with. It is protium, deuterium, and tritium we have. But the smallest element is the hydrogen. And it has a 1s electronic configuration. So when you add 1 more electron, it becomes 1s2. The atomic number is 2. Helium is the element with atomic number 2. But if you carefully look at the helium, helium has a completed electronic configuration. See, the electronic configuration means it is the various energy levels in which the electrons are filled. Actually, electron filling up is actually following 3 important rules. The first one is Pauli's exclusion principle. Second one is Aufbau principle. Third one is the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. So these 3 rules are obeyed when electrons get filled up in an element. So according to Pauli's exclusion principle, no 2 electrons residing in the same orbital can have all the 4 quantum numbers the same. According to Aufbau principle, electrons will start filling up in the increasing order of energies. According to Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, when a set of electrons enter a set of orbitals of equal energy, they will start pairing up only when all the orbitals have got 1 electron each. So these 3 rules are to be completely obeyed when you are filling up the electrons in the orbitals. And before that, you should understand what is the difference between an orbit and an orbital. What is an orbit? Anyone who knows the answer, please? What is an orbit? And what is an orbital? What is an orbit and what is an orbital? Let me unmute Santosh. 108. What is an orbit and what is an orbital?
சார் ஆர்பிட் வந்து ஒரு எலக்ட்ரானோட ஒரு ரெப்ரசன்டேஷன் அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும்.
What is an orbital?
சார் ஆர்பிட்டல் வந்து அந்த நியூக்ளியஸ் சுத்தி எத்தனை எலக்ட்ரான் அந்த இது ரெஃபர் பண்ணுங்க.
Orbit is the two-dimensional path which is traveled by the electron around the nucleus. It is the two-dimensional path traveled by the electrons around the nucleus. Orbital is the three-dimensional boundary in which the probability of finding the electron is maximum. Actually, this involves a very big explanation. You will understand this only when you study the quantum mechanics in post-graduation. In postgraduate studies, you will be studying quantum mechanics. Only in the quantum mechanics, you will be knowing what is the three-dimensional space and what is a two-dimensional path. So orbit is a two-dimensional path which is traveled by the electron around the nucleus, whereas orbital is the three-dimensional boundary in which the probability of finding the electron is maximum. Now look here, hydrogen has only one orbit, and that orbit contains only one orbital, which is 1s orbital. That 1s orbital can accommodate only two electrons. Therefore, one electron is filled. When the one electron is filling, you are getting hydrogen with atomic number 1. When two electrons are found, two protons are found, it is the helium with 1s2. So 1s2 is the completed electronic configuration. So you should understand, when an orbital has got all the electrons which it can accommodate, then the orbital becomes saturated, which means that it becomes inactive and it will not react. So the elements with the completed electronic configuration will show the least reactivity. The elements which show half-filled configuration also will show least reactivity. But the elements with the partial completion or which are partially filled with electrons will show high reactivity. Now, if you take a helium, helium has its completed electronic configuration, which means its duplet is complete. Duplet means the maximum it can accommodate only two electrons, and the two electrons are accommodated. That is the duplet condition. Suppose if you take neon or krypton, they have completed octet. Octet means s orbital and p orbitals are found in the outermost electronic configuration. Therefore, for s orbital 2 electron and p orbital 6 electron, totally if they have 8 electrons, then they are having the completed electronic configuration. So neon is inert because it has a completed octet. But helium is inert because it has its completed duplet. Therefore, helium is rightly placed in its position in the 0th group. See, lithium is there in the second group, sorry, the second period. On its right, it has beryllium, which has the 2s2 electronic configuration. But helium is not placed just above the beryllium. You should understand this point very clearly. See, the hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, these are all alkali metals. The next column, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, radium, they are called alkaline earth metals, which are having Ns2 electronic configuration. Helium, even though it has 1s2 electronic configuration, it is not counted one with the alkaline earth metals, but it has separated to a long distance and which is kept at the last group, which is the 0th group. Why the helium is placed in the last group? Because it can accommodate only 2 electrons and that 2 electrons are filled. Therefore, it is having an inert configuration Therefore, this helium does not show any reactivity. Hence, it forms hence it becomes one of the inert gases. Therefore, it has been rightly placed in the zeroth group. So the first row, the first period has only two elements, namely hydrogen and the helium, where hydrogen is the first group element and the helium is the last group element. In between, a lot of vacant spaces left. So you should understand why helium is placed in the zeroth group. So my dear student friends, in another 9 minutes, the meeting will be ended. Immediately the meeting will be restarted. You please enter through the same user ID and password, because this Zoom is not allowing us to continue beyond 40 minutes. And another 20 minutes, I will discuss the same thing in the same link. Once meeting is ended, please re-enter quickly. So let us look the second period. So second period has 8 elements, starting with the first alkali element, lithium, and the ending in the noble gas, neon. So lithium, the next one is beryllium. And then the P block starts: boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, then fluorine, then neon. Therefore, it contains 8 elements. Now look here, the third period, it also contains 8 elements. Starts with sodium and ends with krypton, another noble gas. Now, if you look carefully, lithium with atomic number 3, you just move on to 8 places and you come back to sodium, that is 3 plus 8. Now you are having the atomic number 11. The chemical characteristics of lithium and sodium are similar. So the recurrence of the physical and chemical properties is observed when you pass 8 elements. So lithium and sodium have resemblance. Again, if you pass 8 elements, you are coming to potassium. Potassium, sodium, lithium, or lithium, sodium, potassium, they have resemblance. Therefore, the recurrence of a chemical and physical characteristics has been observed after 8. So the 2, 8, 8, the magical numbers. So similarly, if you take beryllium, down beryllium, magnesium, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, radium. If you go to boron group, boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. Again, carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, lead, nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. So these are all having similar properties. But if you carefully look into that, the resemblance comes, or the recurrence is taking place after the number 8. So if you start at lithium, after completion of the 8, you are coming back to sodium. Suppose if you start at beryllium, after completing 8, you are coming back to magnesium. If you start at boron, you complete the 8 and you come back to aluminium. So one below the other you are coming, and that is what is observed is the recurrence of the physical and chemical properties. Why this recurrence takes place? That is what is our discussion a little bit later. Now you go to the fourth group. Fourth group starts with potassium with atomic number 19, but ends with xenon with atomic number 36. So look here, this is the first long period. Now, lithium, sodium, potassium, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. The next column, beryllium, magnesium, calcium. The next element found in the periodic table is a scandium. This scandium, it does not have any resemblance with boron. Look here, lithium is here. Next to lithium, beryllium is there. And the next element is boron actually. Below the lithium, sodium. Below the beryllium, magnesium. Below the boron, aluminium. All right. Now, below the sodium, potassium. Below the magnesium, calcium. Below the boron, aluminium. But actually in the periodic table, before the aluminium and after the calcium, scandium is found. But scandium is expected to have the characteristics of boron group. But it is not showing any resemblance with gallium or boron. Therefore, the elements have between scandium and zinc, scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. These 10 elements, they have come in between potassium and gallium, and these elements, they do not resemble the previous elements, and they are called transition elements. See, potassium to krypton, potassium, calcium, gallium, germanium, arsenic, selenium, bromine, krypton. These elements, that is 2 S block elements and the 6 P block elements, they are called normal elements or representative elements. A question may be asked, what are normal elements or representative elements? Normal elements or representative elements are the S block and the P block elements are called normal or representative elements. These transition elements are suddenly appearing in between the S block and the P block because according to the energies of orbitals, suddenly d orbital is getting filled up. But in all these d block metals, the transition metals, the outermost electronic configuration remains a 4s. There is no change in this. So this is a 3d1 4s2, 3d2 4s2, 3d3 4s2. This is 3d5 4s1. This is 3d5 4s2. So the outermost electronic configuration remains a 4s. But before 4s, 3d is getting filled. So as the 3d is getting filled, you know, d orbital has 5 lobes or 5 orientations. In a better language, it has 5 spatial orientations. And each orientation can accommodate 2 electrons. Therefore, the total number of electrons that could be accommodated in d orbitals is 10. Therefore, the filling up of 10 electrons takes place from 21 to 30. This 21 to 30, these elements, they are all, the d orbital is getting filled. So d1, d2, d3, d5, d5, d6, d7, d8, d10, d10. So that is the electronic configuration. So the d orbital is getting filled just before 4s. Therefore, before the p orbitals, the d orbital is getting filled. Therefore, it is finding a place in between S block and the P block, and hence they are called the transition elements. And also these transition elements show very peculiar properties like variable valencies. They form colored ions and their atoms are paramagnetic in nature.